We are backstage at Merriweather Post Pavilion, DC101's Kerfuffle, and I have the guys from Young the Giant here. Welcome, first off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. We've been doing this thing all afternoon, Klinger and Jones and myself, where we're handing out these old pictures where we look like we're 1980s DJs, and we're signing them as if we are 1980s DJs. And Jones just asked you guys a question. First of all, do you guys do like baseball players where you have to sign 1,000 balls before the gig? Do you have to sign like 100 different things before each gig?
Not each gig, but sometimes like it'll accrue, and then we have like 500 things to sign in one day. And it's not my favorite thing to do.
No.
Yeah.
But and the funny thing is, and please don't put on any airs about it. You know, you practiced your autograph when you were like 11 years old.
Yeah, I actually love cursive.
Well, and then they don't teach it in school anymore. So I don't know how people are going to sign an autograph now.
It's like hieroglyphics now.
So now when you do your autograph, you're like, all right, here we go. But back in the day, it was somebody's going to ask me for an autograph, and I want to make sure my S has a big old swoosh in it. Oh, yeah. So how is the Samir autograph today?
It's one thing, one movement. So I do the Stussy sign in the front,
Mm-hmm.
and then some hearts, some X's and O's. No, I try to change it up, and usually, sometimes if it's just one, then I'll try and do it nice and make it really pretty. Sometimes people ask us to ask me to write lyrics to songs so they can tattoo it on themselves.
That's hard.
Yeah, and
that's
I'm like, I don't want to mess this up. So
Yeah.
I'll do a little nice, but then after the 400th one, it's kind of like this.
Can I, because you were playing the Lidos guitar, which is the most 80s guitar ever. It's kind of badass.
It's great.
Maybe you might want to put an umlaut somewhere in your autograph at some point, Motley Crue style.
That'd be great.
And so Klinger just asked this question to Shade, and it kind of stole a little bit of my thunder. So I'm going to rephrase this question because I'm sitting here and talking to you guys, and I'm thinking to myself, what's it like to be a rock band in 2019? And the reason it came up in my radar is because I was listening to my favorite band of all time, Pearl Jam, on the way in, and they kind of railed against the way the status quo was in the 90s and 2000s. But now the way that they came up almost feels a little antiquated, where you're selling 2 million copies of your album and you're moving forward from there. So even the way that what they were railing against has kind of become more of a traditional, antiquated type of thing. So what's it like to be a rock band? And I'm not just saying musicians, because it's different than pop artists. What's it like being a rock band in 2019?
I mean, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, I know. I served it up.
I mean, I think music generations pass now, like every month.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly,
you're like dinosaurs.
Yes.
We've been around for 8 years, and that's a long time. And there's never going to be a band like Pearl Jam anymore, I don't think. I mean, maybe things will change, but I actually really like being in this limbo. It's kind of like Almost Famous, where you can hang out and have a normal life, and then sometimes people be like, hey, I like your band.
And you're kind of redefining what success is measured by at this point, because you could say, oh, we sold 900,000 copies of our album first week. No one's ever going to do that again. So you can't use that as a measuring stick anymore.
No.
So how do you guys feel your success or your connection with your audience, or who you're trying to get your music across? How do you feel that is getting established in 2019?
I think just in general, the new reality of being a musician is you have to spend so much more time on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it is tiring. It's really expensive to be out on the road. I think people don't even really think about that, but there's just so many logistics. On the other hand, you're face-to-face with the people who are listening to your music every single night, which is there's really nothing like that. You can see the number of streams or number of records sold, but when you actually see people who are connecting with your music on a night in, night out basis, that is the most amazing feeling.
Yeah.
And we get to do that. We've done 70 shows on this record so far. I think we have another 40 coming up, and yeah, it's exciting.
And I said it as a goof about the signing of the autographs, but when Eddie Vedder leaves the stage or leaves the recording studio, he leaves it behind. Whereas the challenge today is, well, what did you post on Instagram lately? Have you guys tweeted anything lately? And it's that whole thing where you don't just walk off stage and go, all right, I'm done promoting my band. Now we move on to the next city. Does that get draining?
I mean, to be honest, we kind of got grandfathered into this thing where it's not as important for us. I think if you I'm sure you have talked to all the other bands here today, some of whom are much younger than us, some of whom, like Tom, has been in this game forever. I mean, I watched him play Rock the Bells when I was 16. And I met him backstage, like, oh my God.
You're Tom Morello.
But it's for us, we're not as reliant on that. I think there are a lot of positives to that, obviously. I think it's just like music is lucid now, and you can just kind of release it and don't have to care about having to like curate it and make it like super perfect. And I think right now that's what people really need. They need something that's honest. But at the same time, it's kind of like based on like winning a lottery ticket, like having this viral thing, which works for a few.
Yeah.
And for other people who kind of want to do it the old way, they're having to figure out a new
how
format.
we're going to do that.
Yeah.
You guys, to pivot to a social media hashtag that you guys are trying to get going, what's the story with Jan the Giant in the open?
Yeah, that's actually something we've been doing for pretty much as long as we've been touring. The first time we ever did
But
it.
there's the hashtag is up now, and like you're getting it out, like you're saying this
I don't
is
think
this
it was
is-
like as calculated as it. I was just like, people do hashtags.
Let's come up with.
Oh, did you add a hash? Okay.
There's a
So
hashtag now. There's an.
Usually we do things by committee. I did not vote yes on
Oh,
the hashtag, so.
Yeah,
But I mean, it is a part of what we do that we're really proud of, and that is really near and dear to us.
Mhm.
And just being able to take our songs and go out into these amazing, beautiful places and feel kind of inspired to do a stripped down rendition. But if it is becoming a hashtag thing, that's his fault.
Well, and the new single, you've got a thing going around where it's some shirtlessness. There's some minor nudity in it. And it's very, very cool. And that's the thing I was looking at. I was like, oh, this is very fun. I like this.
Yeah. Yips.
Before I let you go, I'm gonna need Samir for you to write "In Any Universe You Are My Dark Star" on my skin,
let's do it.
so that
I'll just do a star like.
And honestly, this is my favorite lyric of the last 2 years. Like I just
thank
like every time that pops up in Superposition, I'm like, yes, yes. Listen. I'm not gonna call you a nerd, but
I'm a nerd. Yeah, we're all nerds.
Thank you for calling yourself a nerd. And as a fellow nerd, I was like, thank you. So like, listen, you're not calculatingly putting in a lyric like that, but how does a lyric like that come to you and you're like, I want to get that into a song?
Mm-hmm. I think we were oftentimes when we write songs, at least songs that become important in our careers, we have like a long, in-depth conversation about what the song should mean and how we're seeing these things happen in our life as in a pattern. And the idea of superposition to me had become something that I just was seeing everywhere in life. Trying to step outside of myself and accept these different versions of who I am and different versions of who everyone is. And I've always been, my granduncle is a black hole physicist, so I like.
Oh, it's deep.
I always grew
Yeah.
that for me. That grew up with family and stuff, and the challenge was to make a song like that, but make it a love song and have it something that people can understand, but without having it feel too esoteric.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. And now, Heat of the Summer, next single. You'll be hearing that on DC101. So I think that's it. You guys got to get ready for a co-headlining set this evening at Kerfuffle.
That's right.
Thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us, and go tear it up tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, man.